Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and today I want to take a look at Procol Harum's classic Whiter Shade of Pale. Gary Booker just passed away this past week, and Whiter Shade of Pale is a terrific example of a hybrid rock tune, classic rock tune, that draws on much earlier Baroque influences. Let's take a look. So, Whiter Shade of Pale has been compared to a couple of Bach pieces favorably, but it's clear that the piece and the organ part, we'll play it in a second, draws on the Bach theme, Air on a G string, and also one of the cantata themes, Sleeper's Wake. They're worth listening to in their own right, although I don't think we'll go into it today. But here's the organ solo. We'll take a look at what makes it tick, but let's just listen to it. Well, it's a beautiful example of something that we've been talking about the past few weeks, really this whole year. And it's quite clear as you watch the melody, the top line, and the bass line go by, that the organization of the bass is this descending line. Now, we've talked about descending chromatic lines. In the case of this piece, we're talking about a descending diatonic line. It's terrific that it's in the key of C. Now, let's just sort of fill in the blanks. I'm going to create another track here in a different color so that it's easy to sort of follow this through. So let's look at the chord motion just as block chords, and then we'll talk about the inversions, because it's really kind of genius what Procol Harum did with the tune. All right, so not listening to the melody at all. The first chord is C. The next chord really in the song is A minor. The next chord is F, and then D minor. Can you sort of hear the shape of the tune as it's going? I'm playing block chords as triads very deliberately. It's not how we'd ever do the tune. Let's continue. E minor, G7, C, F, G, F, G, and then the whole thing starts again. Well, no good arrangement would use root position triads to arrange a tune like that. It's not beautiful sounding, right? So inversions are brought into play. But one more thing happens here, and it's just kind of genius. So the bottom line of the chord creates the bass line. And in order to do that, we've got to add tones to the chord. C, and then the bass line walks down to B. Still a C chord, but the bass line is B. The next chord is A minor, do you remember? A minor, and the bass line walks down to G. It's still an A minor chord, but the bass line has walked down. The next chord is F. We're heading to D minor. Can you guess what's going to happen? F walks down to E, and then D minor, which walks down to C. We've got this, and maybe I should put this C down here so it's more obvious. We've got those three chords and a bass line that's slowly descending, tying them together, and the inner voice is voiced in a simple way. Well, at this point in the tune, they have to hop up because it's time for a G chord. So we hop up again, and now G becomes the bass note. G over F, E minor, and then right away G7 over D, and then this beautiful moment here to F. And what's lovely about that is when you listen, come back. What's lovely about that when you listen to the organ part is the C, which sort of sings out there over the top. It's C sus to F. Very pretty. And of course that resolves to G. G over F, which gives you the G7 sound. It's gorgeous, right? So knowing all that, let's go back and watch the original. C over B, A minor over G, F over E, walking down to D minor, and then D minor 7 over C. Now it's time for a G chord, G over F, walking down to E minor, walking down to G over D. Here's that C sus, F, G, and then it turns around. The masters of the Baroque used a technique called polyphony, polyphonic writing. Many voices, independent melodic lines, sometimes very simple lines like bass lines that just move in steps, to create chordal textures. Bach wouldn't have thought of this as a series of chord changes exactly. He would have been experiencing it as kind of a set of tensions and releases around the diatonic chords of the key center. And that beautiful melody, which we probably, if we were Baroque composers, would call an air, like the first movement of the Goldberg variations, ties it all together as the chords smoothly move around this gorgeous stepwise motion in the bass. Well, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe. Coming up, I think my last installment in the Black History Month Ellington series. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Maybe you have an idea. Someone said Passion Flower, which is actually still a really good idea. Maybe I'll look at that. It's a hard one. It's hard. I'll see you next time.